Buddy, welcome. Super excited to have you here. We got a lot to cover today, so please, I encourage you, take notes during this presentation. We're going to be dropping a lot of nuggets about our goals, as well as some of the goals that we're presenting to other Inner Circle members for all of us to crush it in 2025. And we want you to crush it in 2025. The ability to not grow is not an option for us.
It is not an option. Welcome to the Inner Circle presentation. Before we get started, I just want to make sure that we're not having any technical issues and everyone can hear us loud and clear. If you can, just give us a thumbs up. Let us know that you're fully integrated, you can hear us, and you're ready to react. And we're going to have questions during presentation, testimonials. So we want to make sure that all of you are part of this.
Nice. Got some thumbs up in the chat.
Thumbs up, coming
Fantastic.
through. All good. Awesome. Awesome. Welcome to this Inner Circle presentation. Just to touch on what Eric said, we strongly believe that 2025 is going to be a huge, huge pivot in what's happening in e-commerce, specifically on Amazon.
Yeah.
We saw the beginnings of it and the unraveling in 2024 with a lot of changes. And we believe and we know that there is more to come in the industry in 2025. So we want to make sure everyone is prepared and dominating. And that's what this webinar is about.
Yep. Your path to e-commerce mastery. So in the next 45 minutes to an hour, we're going to cover a lot. But first, I kind of want to give you an agenda of what exactly we'll be reviewing so you can go prepare yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is our agenda. So we're going to talk about the challenges in 2024 and what's to come in 2025. How to win in 2025. What is Inner Circle? Brand direct strategies, source correct, and then our surprise destination in-person mastermind.
Yeah.
So what we've done 3 years of these masterminds. We've done several during the year before. And each year, the mastermind from our Inner Circle members has been the most revolutionary thing out of everything that changed their business. The information that they gained from that mastermind.
Next level.
Next level. And this year, we're gonna top it off. We're gonna over deliver. Absolutely.
Over deliver. That's the name of the game.
Absolutely.
So here's some of the challenges that a lot of us faced in 2024. And they're going to move into 2025. These challenges are not being removed as we move into the new year.
No.
So Sebastian and I, in our own business, we've seen these challenges take place over the past 12 months, and we've integrated strategies in our business to continue to increase profitability. Right? Because we've seen all of us increasing operational costs from placement fees, increased shipping fees, the low inventory level fee. These are all fees that universally Amazon sellers need to navigate properly, or else you're cutting into your margins substantially.
And when it comes to the placement fees, the changes to not only was inbound placement fees an additional fee, but it really changed the way we all shipped our products to Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And we know the only way to succeed is to be prepared. We were in Canada at the time, and we did a workshop with our Inner Circle members. I think that was November or December.
2023.
So the changes were coming in April. We were already preparing our Inner Circle members, building out the strategies and the foundations in December for what was to come.
Yeah.
And because you got to be prepared.
Yeah, I mean, we're always months and months ahead of any of these changes because we got our ears to the street. We know exactly what changes are being implemented, the dates that they're being implemented. And then on our side, we're strategizing with our own team of how to navigate that properly. And then we're delivering that information to our Inner Circle crew.
There's a reason why we've had Inner Circle members part of this Inner Circle community since its existence, since fruition. And there's a reason why we've been around dominating Amazon for 12 years now. And it's because we're proactive, not reactive. We come prepared.
Yep. Some other challenges you're going to experience is if you don't have any current brand exclusive relationships, you're going to lose a lot of control over the marketplace, right? You have essentially no protection without those LOAs and those direct one-on-one relationships with those brands, right? And because of that, you will have SKUs that you've historically sold for many years that are now being enrolled into transparency. You can't sell them anymore, or Amazon is gating those brands. You can't sell them anymore. So you do not want to be on that side of the street when it happens because your inventory can deplenish quickly.
And I think a lot of you have already seen that in 2024. More listings than ever are being enrolled into transparency. More brands than ever are being gated. Amazon's cleaning up their catalog. Certain brands now see they need to be on Amazon. And because of that, they want to have control. But the thing is, they don't want to directly control it. And they've also worked with Amazon, and many of them don't want to work with Amazon because that's a one-sided relationship. So they have two choices: either do it themselves, which many don't know how, or to find someone like you who will provide the service and be able to ramp them up and build that relationship. And if you don't know anything about that, you're like, yeah, that sounds great, but I have no idea where to start with that. That's what Inner Circle's about.
Exactly. And then the other thing that you'll see as a challenge is a one marketplace strategy. For years, Sebastian and I sold on multiple marketplaces, and then we turned off those marketplaces during COVID, and we've been exclusively Amazon for 3 or 4 years now. But in the past 6 months, we've now integrated with other marketplaces to generate additional revenue streams. All right.
Yep.
And so we covered the challenges, right? But how are we all going to win in 2025? Because it's easy to point out the challenges, navigate around them, but we want to see you continue to thrive in the new year.
Yeah.
Right. So step one is decreasing those operational costs from some of those fees we just talked about. Understand how to order properly so you can eliminate as much as possible that low inventory level fee, right? Making sure your warehouse or your prep center relationship is fully optimized. So when you are doing shipment splits, you're not in the middle of mayhem, everybody running around trying to figure out what goes where. You have a streamlined system that everybody can follow.
And you're like, and if once again, you're asking the question, but how do I do this? Well, that's what this surprise destination workshop mastermind this year in 2025 is going to be all about. Optimizing your entire, not only the warehouse flow, but your entire business, the organizational structure from top down. We're going to show you the way that we've built it so you could just follow and make sure you get the same results. Yeah. It's as easy as that. And at the end of the day, we've started this whole webinar talking about brand relationships, but wholesale relationships are still the secret sauce. You can turn your suppliers like we have, turning our suppliers into our own brokers, into our own agents who are reaching out to brands and vouching for us. You know, we provide them with all the benefits of why and what we're seeing in the marketplace. And then they go out and they build those exclusive relationships for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a game changer. You're already working with established businesses who have established relations with companies. Preferably, you've been spending money with these wholesalers. So getting your foot in the door with some of these brands is a no-brainer. You have the data. Now you just need to leverage the relationship.
And I don't know about you, but I hate cold calling. I hate pitching. I hate trying to sell myself. Like if I'm able to work with somebody who already has established relationships with those brands and says, oh yeah, I'll reach out to so-and-so and set up that meeting. It is such a relief.
It's a game changer.
Yeah.
It's a game changer. So we're going to dive deeper into some of these strategies throughout this webinar. But some people attended this live session. You may have no idea what Inner Circle is and the incredible impact that it's had on some of the largest sellers in the space and some new growing, thriving sellers. And then some of you may have heard of it. You may know some people inside of it, but you don't really know what happens inside. So we will be breaking all of that down for you tonight. And like we said earlier, this is our 4th year of doing Inner Circle with billions of dollars sold by its members over those 4 years. So every year we continue to enhance the Inner Circle resources and benefits based on what we've learned in the years previous, and we keep integrating them to make it better and better year over year.
That wasn't a video glitch. It is billions with a B. Our Inner Circle members now have sold billions, plural, over the past 4 years through Inner Circle selling on Amazon. That's insane. Insane number. So let's dive a little bit into what Inner Circle is going to be all about in 2025. We're going to kick it off on our strategy call, focusing on brand relationships, brand exclusivities, brand partnerships, and getting you prepared for the first trade show that we're going to be doing in March. Making sure that when you get to that trade show, we're going to be there with you, that you already have meetings set up with the brands that are there, and you're going to be fully prepared with the questions to ask, the pitch decks to provide. Don't know what a pitch deck is? We'll be going over that shortly, and exactly what Eric and I do to lock these brands in for years to come.
Yeah. And then second, we got our in-person mastermind, which is also happening in March. And we'll get to the destination in a few minutes here. But essentially, it's a full 2-day event where all of the inner circle businesses from all over the world fly to one location. And it's an opportunity to network with these businesses in person, right? And of course, we deliver tons of knowledge and resources on how to optimize your business during that 2-day in-person event. It's absolutely life-changing.
The third, one of the most crucial aspects of Inner Circle is that you get the one-on-one support. You're getting one-on-one support or community WhatsApp support, or possibly both, from Eric and myself. So we're like your COOs, your advisors for your company, helping you become an owner rather than an operator. There is a very big difference. Essentially making sure any problems that arise, any fires that you got to put out, any strategies that you want to build, any questions that you have, we're available for you weekdays and weekends, mornings, days, nights.
Yeah. Now, you may be looking at some of this stuff and be like, all right, this stuff is great. This applies to me. This will be very beneficial. This I maybe don't need, right? But this is just the outline of what's Inner Circle. The goal of Inner Circle is to allow your business to grow by tens of thousands of dollars in profits per month. Right? So when you're able to pull and leverage from each of these resources, we guarantee that will happen. We have our monthly Inner Circle live calls every single month. Me and the other Inner Circle businesses, we host a high-level mastermind talking about the shit that moves the needle for growing businesses.
Yeah. And then you get access to Source Correct. Source Correct was a software that we developed to take our business to the next level. There was first Google Sheets and Excels. Then we started purchasing all these monthly subscriptions. And I think nobody like Amazon sellers has so many subscriptions. It's like you need a different software to do everything in your business. So next thing you know, Eric and I have 12 different softwares and 400 different Google Sheets to run this multi-million-dollar business. And we were like, there's got to be something better.
Way.
And that's what Source Correct is. It was that better. It was one place to be able to handle all that internal functions from sourcing products, supplier communication, communication between buyers, making sure you're purchasing your products and restocking them, making sure you could pick those products, prep those products, and ship them all from one software. So, and the software continues to evolve, continues to be optimized. And a few years ago, we decided to give that to our Inner Circle members because we want to provide as much value as possible to make sure that they continue to conquer and dominate in the space.
Yep. And through the years working with many of these big businesses, you know, people need infrastructure to optimize their warehouse. And what's better than just telling you of how to optimize your warehouse and showing you how to optimize your warehouse? The next best thing is literally flying to your warehouse and helping you optimize it in person. So that is part of Inner Circle, where me or Sebastian will fly to your facility, spend an entire day with you, and implement the same exact systems that we have here into your facility so you could crush thousands upon thousands of prepped units a day.
So what's that look like? It looks like a full entire day or 2 days, depending on what tier of Inner Circle you're in, spending it with you, with your VAs, with your buyers, with your admin, with your warehouse and prep workers, and ensuring that they are fully optimized, ensuring that they're doing the right flow, because you don't know what you don't know. And sometimes you need somebody to step in from outside the box to give you the right perspective on how you should optimize and change things in order to continue to grow and dominate.
Yeah, and it's really cool because every warehouse we go to, by the time we leave that warehouse, by the next day, they're producing 2 to 4 times the amount of inventory. So within 8 hours, fully optimized operation, 2 to 4x daily production, absolutely life-changing.
And this has been going on now for 3 years. So Eric mentioned, you know, a guarantee that you'll be able to grow your business tens of thousands of dollars and the ability to 2x, 3x production. And we don't just throw these random numbers out. This is the data because we follow through with our Inner Circle members and we see where you start and where you end each year. And this has been the data year after year after year.
Yeah. Now, brand direct strategies, this is a huge focus, and I'm not going to dive too deep into it here because we're going to cover a lot of this in the next couple of slides, but we're going to help you literally lock in brand direct so you could be on the other side of the street instead of getting kicked off of listings because they're enrolled in transparency. You could be the seller that's starting to enroll these products in transparency and help these brands grow.
Yeah. And then the peer networking and support, like Eric mentioned earlier, Our community has sold billions with a B. When you're surrounded by people like that, it just forces, it forces you to level up. It forces you to change. You'll maybe hear from some of our inner circle members tonight about that, but I know personally speaking with many of them that they say even before the first community call, the first workshop, something changes in them because they just level up naturally, knowing they're part of a community of winners.
Yeah.
It just happens.
When you pay attention.
Yeah.
All right, so let's dive into our brand direct strategy for 2025. It is crucial for continued growth. I honestly believe that the companies that do not lock in brand direct relationships in the next 12 months will have a lot of issues, not just maintaining profitability, but existing in the years to come, right?
For sure.
Let me say that again. You won't just have issues maintaining profitability, but you will have issues existing in the years to come. And you may be thinking to yourself like, oh, well, I won't be impacted by this, or I have time. And let me make it as clear as possible. You do not have time, because while you're thinking about it, every seller in Inner Circle is taking action and locking in brand directs. You don't have another year. If you do not pivot this year, your business may not be around in 2026. There has to be a pivot that happens, and we will guide you through that.
And all of us have been on the side of being on listings that are enrolled in transparency, and we have to sell through our products.
Yeah.
And we're not sure what to do our catalog's locked up and we're getting gated. And I have to apologize because it's a lot of our inner circle members that are doing that. But all jokes aside, it's either be on the winning side or be on the losing side. And we all see the writing on the wall. Amazon's cleaning up their catalog, cleaning up their marketplace, and they want brand to consumer direct relationships. Doesn't mean wholesale's going away. It's still going to be there, but it does mean that things are changing. And if you don't change with it, to Eric's point, you're going to die.
Yeah.
The business is going to die. It's going to happen. It might not happen tomorrow night. It might not happen next week, but I say 12 to 8 months without changing anything in your business with the rapid change that's happening right now online.
You're going to be struggling.
Yeah.
You're going to be struggling. And I hate to get that message, 6 to 9 months from now. Hey, it's, I'm really struggling. I knew I should have joined Inner Circle, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I don't want to see it happen.
Yeah. Or just level up. You just, even if you're someone that's not ready to join Inner Circle, take that mindset and understand that you need to be around winners. If it's not this community, be around people that are locking in brands like our community is. Be around people that are doing millions like our community is. Because if you're not there today, at least being in a community like that will guarantee you will be there. It will guarantee.
Yeah.
So let's kind of go into what's going to be happening this year in Inner Circle with our main focus, spotlighting brand partnerships. We're going to kick it off with the brand search strategy, helping you to identify the right brand that works for you. Trust me, not all brands are created equally, and what might work for Eric and myself might not work for you, and vice versa. So we have our 9-point list and then some, where we're going to identify the brands that are going to work best for you, and then help you identify the decision makers that you need to reach out to and exactly what to say, so you can lock them up at a trade show or lock up time with them to meet on a Zoom call, or however the communication is going to happen, so that you can sell your service and sell your business and make sure that they decide you're the right fit for them.
Yeah. Right. And then after you found some brands, right, and you have a strategy of connecting with them, we're going to show you how to convince these brands that you are the right partner. Because that's probably the hardest part of the entire brand direct strategy. But don't worry, we got you covered. We'll educate you on how to provide the right data, right? Deliver it properly so you can communicate that your vision aligns with theirs, right? You're not trying to jump in on this outsider and take everything over. You're trying to work with this brand to allow them to continue to grow, because when their brand grows, guess what happens? Your business grows.
Yep. And then right after that, we're getting into pitch decks, and we're going to go a little bit deeper into pitch decks in the next slide. But just to give you a timeline of what we've covered right now, this is January 9th, our Inner Circle workshop. And now we're going to be talking about February 13th, all preparing you for the March 1st Mastermind. So we're kicking off the year strong and making sure you're rocket shipping up as soon as the year starts.
Yeah. And so we're going to work you through this process live of building out your pitch deck. So when you come to this live workshop, you're going to bring a brand. Sebastian and I will have a brand, and we'll be building out the pitch decks live. So if you have any question, you know exactly where to put the data, how to present the data, and how to deliver it very clearly so there's no misunderstandings from the brand side.
And just to give you a better understanding of what a pitch deck is, it's a presentation like the one you're viewing right now. And we're pointing out to the brand the services we provide, why we're the best fit for the brand, what problems they're currently having. We've probably already had 1 or 2 discussions with them and asked them questions so we know some of their pain points, and then how we're going to address those pain points and ensure that they continue to grow and dominate in the marketplace.
Yeah. And the coolest thing is this is something new for 2025, right? I mean, these trade show workshops are going to be absolute game changers for everybody inside Inner Circle, because now we're literally holding your hand through this entire process, guaranteeing that you're locking in brand directs. Because if a few months go by and you don't have any brand directs, then it says one of 2 things. One, you're either not showing up to the calls and not taking action on the information we're providing, or 2, you're slacking.
Yeah, and I doubt that's going to be any of you. If you're at this webinar right now and you're listening in and you've seen what's been happening in the Amazon marketplace, you know that if nothing changes, nothing changes, and it's time to change. So this trade show workshop is going to be happening right in the first week of March. Matter of fact, March 1st, March 2nd. During that time period, we're going to be having that. So far, we've now identified brands we want to work with, identified their pain points. The next workshop that we did, we built out the pitch decks that we're going to present to the brands. And by this time here at the trade show workshop, we've already communicated with brands and set up appointments to actually meet with them at the trade show.
Game changer. Right. And then onboarding the brand. Onboarding a brand can seem very overwhelming. How do you connect transparency, right? How do you use the proper email? And then how do you add it to your seller account? How do you register a branded transparency? How do you set up invoicing for transparency? How do you print the labels, get it enrolled in OPR? All of these questions you're going to have, right? The brand may ask you, which ASINs are you going to start with? Or how are you going to optimize your listings? These are all questions that you probably don't have the answers to, because most Amazon sellers don't have the answers to these questions.
You're not going to find it on YouTube.
No, and you're not going to find this stuff on YouTube or on Google searches, but you don't got to worry about all that, because we got you covered. Every single one of these topics and more will be tackled head on in Inner Circle 2025. Allowing you to maintain massive growth in the new year.
I mean, I'm just thinking about nuances like, how do I fix a brand's attribute because it's incorrect, but the brand wants to keep the listing? How do I resurrect an ASIN that's, been ranked 300,000, but just because it was poorly maintained, but now the brand wants to bring it back? Or things like, the
incorrect brand names.
Incorrect brand names is always a nightmare. A very, very difficult part. Or even, how do I connect the seller account to brand registry? Because a lot of people think that once you're brand registered with the brand, that's it, because I have it connected to the same email as my seller account. No, there's an additional step. And then, of course, transparency in itself. It sounds like a lot, but I'm telling you, when you ask those questions and you're part of the group, it's like a 1-step, 2-step process. It's very simplified once you're working with people and a community who's done it. So after all of this, we're now going to be talking about onboarding part 3, which is setting up the roles of your dedicated account manager, the person who's going to be working with that brand, exactly what KPIs and reporting they need to be providing to that brand. And that person might be you. I would actually highly recommend, if this is your first time doing a brand partnership, that it is you. Yeah. It is you. It's always that in the beginning for us, for any roles in our business, besides maybe accounting. I want to stay away from that part. But any other roles in our business, we first want to understand it fully, and then we pass it on to somebody else to take it to the next level. Yeah. And creating a brand that has full centric content, fully uniformed and conformed to the brand's vision. Yeah.
And then the next step in this process is long-term success.
Yes.
Right? Because you've went through the entire process of finding a brand to partner with, right? Then you've delivered them the value. They see you as the right fit. You've now started growing their brand on Amazon, but how do you maintain long-term success? I mean, we'll be sharing all of that with you because a lot of the brands that we've had, like example, this one standing behind us here, we've had this brand for multiple years. And right now in Q4, it does over 70,000 in profit per month, $70,000 in profit per month. One brand and just one SKU from that brand. It's crazy, life-changing. Imagine taking on a brand that's even taking on 10% of that. That's bringing you $7,000 in profits consistently every single month, month over month.
And that's not sales, that's profit. That's money you put back in your pocket. Big difference.
Yeah. And we got Mario here. Mario's been in Inner Circle now for some time.
Yep.
It took some convincing to get Mario in Inner Circle.
We both got to sit down with Mario in Miami, right?
Yeah, Miami.
Right. We were sat down with him and his team. He wasn't sure if Inner Circle was the right fit for him, but I think like the day after we sat down,
and then we saw him at ASD, right? We saw him at
ASD. That's right. We saw him at ASD in Las Vegas, and that was the time. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Mario, man, we appreciate you jumping in here. You just want to share kind of your experience and that decision and what kind of made you make that decision and make that commitment for you and your company?
Yeah, so it's just like you guys said, right? I met you guys and I was like, man, these guys seem like the real deal. But you know how it is, right? You're a little skeptic in the beginning.
Yeah.
Saw you guys on Insta, see what you guys were doing. I kept following, I kept seeing comments. I'm like, man, these guys, they're the real deal. But you gotta try it for yourself. So initially I got the course and I started looking at the course that you guys had, and I'm like, man, this freaking course is amazing. And then it was like step by step. Then from there we met at ASD, and I was like, you know what? I just gotta go full board. I got to go, both feet in the water, and let's get this done. So finally jumped into Inner Circle, and you guys laid out a blueprint for me of what to do on my stores and down to the units and all these names that I had never heard of. I'm like, what, this makes so much sense, right? And the way that you guys broke it down for me to help, grow our stores with my team is very easy to explain. And ever since then, we got into the Inner Circle chats and the masterminds that you guys do for the Inner Circle members, and just the questions that are being asked to you guys and the answers that you guys are providing. It's just every single time I hear an answer, it makes me feel even more comfortable every single time of that you guys are the experts, that you guys do know what the hell you're doing. It's not just the warehouse, it's not just for show, like it's the real deal. And I can't wait for more of this because you guys are like the real deal. There's no gimmicks. It's all true what you guys are saying. So yeah.
Well, it's been great having you in Inner Circle, and we know that you've made a lot of changes in your business since joining. A lot of them necessary changes. But what would you say to somebody who's in this webinar right now, watching this and saying, you know what, I need to be in Inner Circle, but their biggest hurdle for joining is getting over the investment to join? What would you say to that person?
Well, I could say this, that once I did the investment, a few months later, the money was back in our pocket.
Nice.
And again, it's just because of the detailed information that you guys provided. Even at the trade show, we got to join a trade show with you guys. And I have been going to trade shows for years. And I was complicating things so much. When I thought I was doing it great, I was like, I know what to do. I know what I'm doing. I've been in Amazon since 2017. I know what the hell is going on. And then when I walked with Sebastian, it was easy. It was just like a quick A, B, C. It was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
It's so easy. So even all the way down to trade shows and just walking in with you guys and the way that you guys approach the vendors is like nothing that I had ever seen in the last 7 years. So
yeah, no, Mario, you make some valid points, and I'm just thinking about in my own life, like, because I'm part of masterminds as well. I'm part of higher level communities of people that are even better off and more successful than I am. And early on, nowadays, I'm not as reluctant because I've seen the pattern over and over again. If I invest in myself, that's the highest ROI. But even for myself early on, I too was like, I know this stuff. Right? I know this stuff already. I've been doing this for a decade. And then you come to find out like, oh, wait, there's levels to this. And there's people that have different experiences than myself that I'm going to be able to feed off of. And it's just going to make me better, which as the company owner is going to make the company better.
100%. And if I can add something else to what I said earlier, my point is, you simplified everything. There's a science to it, but you guys paint it so easy. And it is, once the experts come in and just say, look, A, B, C. And it's not just that. You guys didn't just break it down and actually provided a whole blueprint for me and my team. The numbers showed it. The money that came back into our pocket showed it. It multiplied, tripled. I mean, more than tripled. So you broke it down very easily, and the money is there to prove it. I don't know if I can.
Mario, we appreciate you jumping on this call the day after the holidays. I'm looking forward to next year working directly with you, and happy New Year's, happy 2025. Let's crush it. Next time I talk to you, I want to hear you tell me that it's another 3x on top of that 3x you've already done with your
Let's
investment.
go. I'm excited, guys. Every time you guys talk, I'm going to be there to listen. I'm excited. Thank
Appreciate
you,
you, Mario.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks, bro.
All right. Yeah. And that's a common recurring theme where even for myself in my own life, and I'm sure you've heard it too, where it's like you think you know something and then you hear from somebody else. And maybe it's not that they know more, but they shed a different perspective on it. And then you're like, wait, if I integrate that as a solution, first of all, it might be a problem I didn't even recognize. Now I have a whole nother solution I didn't even know was a problem.
Yeah. And a lot of times I think the magic comes from like he said, the simplification of it.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of times we jump into these businesses and in the first couple of months, we realize that every step in their business is a 10-step process.
Yeah.
When it should be a 3-step process. So we get in there and we start eliminating these steps, which in turn save you time and money.
Yeah.
It's absolute game changer. So I want to ask everybody a question here, and please answer this in the chat. Let us know if you have any brand directs right now. Just put the number of brand directs you have in the chat. And if you have 0, it's perfectly okay. Put that you have 0. Own that shit, right? Because the goal going into the new year is to lock in some brand directs. So if you just have 1, put a 1 in the chat. If you got 5 brand directs that you're doing business with, put a 5 in the chat. Let us know how many brand exclusives you're currently working with. We got some numbers here.
Throw the numbers.
All right, we got 6, we got 0.
Okay.
iPhone said 25, but I don't know. That's questionable. Dude doesn't even have a name. We got Joe 0.
iPhone could have 25. That's
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, to us, look at us. We had more brand partnerships earlier in the year than we do today. It's the quality too. And I'm not saying whoever iPhone is might have quality 25 brands, which is amazing. But for us, we had more brands than we needed, and diving back into them and looking at the numbers, we came to realize that for us, it's quantity is not as important as quality, and we could have fewer brands and be making a lot more money. And that means profit, because at the end of the day, you could have more sales with a lot of brands, but it could also be eating into your operations because some of those brands may be inefficient. A lot of glass products, a lot of products that require additional prep, a lot of companies that may need you to pay up front. While we have brands and we show you how to lock brands in on consignment. If anyone's unfamiliar with consignment, it's essentially you don't pay for the brand's products until they sell.
Game changer.
So, that's one of the things we do. And the way we negotiate that in is we're handling a lot of the allocation for, let me rephrase it. Instead of using allocation, we pay for the ad spend. They give us free product until we sell it. And us spending our money on the ads is okay because we're inflating the cost a little bit of the product. So Amazon itself and the consumer is paying for those ads.
Yeah.
And we get to have products essentially risk-free.
Yeah. So now Sebastian's going to jump into Source Correct, which has been an absolute game changer. We touched on it briefly for a few seconds here at the beginning of this webinar, but essentially it's an all-in-one FBA management software.
And before I do that, I just want to, while we're still on the screen, just if you haven't wrote down a number that you plan to have in 2025, and I don't mean in the chat, I mean in a notebook, I mean on a piece of paper where you go back later and reflect on what your goal for 2025 is, write it down. It is so important. This next week leading up to the new year is always a week where I kind of sit back and write down my goals for the next year. And I'll start small and then I'll expand on it and work backwards. So start with my top level goal and then work exactly breaking it down how I'm going to get there. So start by writing down how many brands you have, and then later tomorrow or the following day, start writing down steps of exactly how you're going to get there to ensure you do. Keep that piece of paper wherever you put it close
Tape
to
it
you
your wall,
so you can look at it every day going up into the new year and beyond. So here, Source Correct. So we kind of touched on this briefly. It's an all-in-one software solution which handles a lot of the purchasing aspect of it, making sure that you're sourcing correct products, making sure that the products in your supplier's catalog are connected to the right ASINs with the right price points. If different suppliers that you work with carry the same products, you can see which one has the best pricing. It provides data as far as your velocity being sold, all your sales, all the information you need from what buyers purchased it. How about your production numbers? Who's producing it for you? How much are they producing daily? How long has this product been in your warehouse? And there's a lot more coming for Source Correct in 2025. But before I get into that, we have one more question for all of you. What do you estimate is the total weekly labor costs associated with your buying team? How much money are you spending on your buyers? And if you're the only buyer,
Consider your time.
consider your time.
Yeah.
How much time are you spending on buying, and what do you value that time being?
Yeah.
Throw that in the chat.
A, B,
Let's
C,
see.
or D.
Let's see. What are we getting the most of? You want me to take a look?
We see some, we got nothing yet.
Nothing yet? All right. So, yeah, I mean, I'm assuming all of you are buying because buying is the most important.
We got a C, 5 to 10,000 a month from Alexi.
A week.
I mean, a week, 5 to 10K a month. Joe's buying himself.
Okay. Buying for us is the foundation. It's the gateway for our entire business. Without strong buying, it doesn't matter how great your operations is, how clean your account health is, how quickly you're responding to messages on Amazon. It doesn't matter if you're buying ship products. It doesn't matter how efficient
Yeah.
your labor is.
And I think an extreme example of how valuable Source Correct is, we started working in Inner Circle last year. A seller joined, and when they joined, they had what, almost 200 virtual assistants, right?
Yes.
It's like 175
Yeah, that was
virtual
insane.
assistants.
And we've seen that a couple times with
Yeah.
our Inner Circle.
And we've seen it with some
Yes.
other businesses as
Yes.
well. Not quite to the 200 number,
No.
but some other businesses join. They have 80 VAs, 75 VAs, crazy numbers.
Yes.
Right. And so this business within the first couple of months of using Source Correct was able to cut their VA staff by 60%. So they went from almost 200 VAs to like 80 VAs, which is crazy. I mean, and then we've had other businesses like Adam, who used to have some buyers, and now he's the only buyer doing 1.3 million a month, just
1.3
one
million.
person.
By himself.
By
just
himself.
Using Source Correct to purchase the products. And the thing is, when it comes to purchasing products, we came to the realization early on, before we had the solution, that, hey, we should be focused on buying, but we can't because we're focused on copying data from one sheet to another, transcribing information about the pack size, about the profits. You know, now there's a lot of softwares where you can maybe copy and paste it, but it's still going into a Google Sheet or an Excel, and it's not all centralized. And that took away from our buying time. So Source Correct, what it does is it gives back all your time to focusing on purchasing, which is the most important aspect of any buyer. It's the facet of it. It's buying profitable items.
So this is an Inner Circle exclusive for 2025.
Yes.
It's going to be absolute game changer. Hit them with the ASIN forecaster, Sebastian.
What the ASIN forecaster is, where we're integrating AI into Source Correct in 2025. And what it's going to do is it's going to basically be a virtual assistant at a high volume rate. It's going to look at the products you've previously purchased, also take a look at the products that are inside your catalogs, and then take a look at the Amazon listings themselves to give you recommendations about how much you should purchase of products, and essentially give you a PO, a purchase order, where you review it and then send it out to your suppliers. So cutting out all of that fat and time, money spent and time spent, where you're buying or you have your VAs buying. And a lot of people who have VAs purchasing, they have like this 3-stage where like VAs will add ASINs, then they have somebody who reviews how many to purchase of it, and then you may be doing that final review about submitting it to a supplier.
Way too many hands.
That's a lot of hands, a lot of time being wasted. This cuts out all of that.
Yeah.
And then the other part of this is the
The
mobile
warehouse management system.
warehouse management system, where you'll be able to see the UPCs that are stored in your warehouse, what ASINs are connected to it, when they were received in your warehouse, how long they've been there, and a mobile application for scanning and receiving products within Source Correct.
That means every single product in your warehouse now has a physical location and you can see exactly where it is.
Yeah.
Absolute game changer. This is probably the most requested resource for Inner Circle Source Correct access.
I
is a
think it
warehouse
was.
management.
I think it was until we told everyone about the AI. But a lot of
The
our Inner
AI
Circle members
buy.
didn't know there that you could integrate this VA style forecaster, which will assist you in purchasing
Yeah.
products. When we brought that up on one of our last Inner Circle masterminds, that's been a big talk inside of our Source Correct WhatsApp, because just like Inner Circle has a WhatsApp, we have another group of Inner Circle for our Source Correct members, where they talk about optimization strategies that they use in Inner Circle, ways that we can continue to improve Inner Circle. And they have direct access to Eric, myself, and our developers inside of that chat. So it's very robust, and it's, it's a game changer.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I mean, we could talk until we're blue in the face
Yep.
about how amazing Inner Circle is, but I think what's even better is, why don't you hear about Source Correct and Inner Circle from someone who's actually using Source Correct every single day and Inner Circle. We're about to bring Johnny in here in a minute or two, and he's going to be able to share and shed some light on, him using Source Correct for the past year. And just a couple days ago, he re-upped his Inner Circle membership. So now he's in Inner Circle for year 2.
What's really cool about Johnny is myself and Kairav, one of my lead developers, were talking about Johnny early on, because he was asking more questions than anyone else in the Source Correct WhatsApp chat. And Kairav said to me, and I agreed with him, he's like, he's gonna be using it better than anyone else. And we were like, yep. And now Johnny doesn't ask questions, he assists others. he provides insight into ways we can improve it. And like, he's mastered the understanding of how to fully optimize and integrate Source Correct.
Yeah.
Johnny, are you with us?
I can hear
Hopefully-
you guys.
Awesome,
Hey.
Johnny. So maybe since we're already on the topic of Source Correct, can you first of all, let's start with how has Source Correct helped you in your business? And of course, we'll ask you Inner Circle questions, but let's start with Source Correct. How has Source Correct helped you in your business? And what kind of investment has that Source Correct been for you?
Well, you just save so much time with Source Correct. Like, if you already scanning your catalog from your wholesaler, you doing a little bit of wholesaling in your Amazon business already. You just understand how many different Excel sheets you are using. And with Source Correct, I can't even imagine where we was at like a year ago. Like with now Source Correct, everything runs smoothly. Yeah, the one thing that you guys didn't talk about is like how easy for you to train someone in the warehouse with Source Correct. Because with like previous shipping software, like I know we was using Inventory Labs, it's not easy for you just to bring someone on from the street and just train them of you get a product, how to ship it out to Amazon, and what ASIN to send it under. With Source Correct, everything is built in. So all they doing in the warehouse is just scanning the product and decide if it's need a sticker or need a poly bag. Super easy to train compared to other softwares that you ship with for Amazon.
I'm happy you said that, and the reason it is like that is because of people like you and other Inner Circle members. And then of course ourselves, we actually run an operation. So to build a software for Amazon sellers is much easier than some other developer who might be great at developing, but doesn't understand the operations. So the same screen for production, for prepping, packing, and shipping products that you see is the same one that we use to ship out millions of products. And you're right. Our prep stations, all they do is scan a UPC, and it tells them what ASIN that is, what FNSKU to put on there, how many units to send out, what the pack size is, what the Amazon prep is. And then of course, if you, Johnny, if you have any of your own prep, like you say, hey, even though Amazon doesn't require bubble wrap this, they'll see that and they'll be ensured that they do it the correct way. Yeah. I mean, so besides what you touched on, which was how efficient your operation is from buying to warehouse, how about my next question to you, because I didn't know you've already joined for next year. What was the biggest reason for you joining for 2025?
Source crack.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. How about the brand partnerships? You're looking into that's
No,
it. James. I mean,
everything-
you're right. I did say the biggest reason. Are there any other reasons that you joined Inner Circle?
Well, to think about it, for like Amazon, right? Like
Yeah.
the basic to join in the circle is 1.5 thousand a month, right? And like Source Crack alone is worth 1.5 thousand a month. So like
Mhm.
everything on top is just a cherry on top for you to grow your business. You know,
Yeah.
you Source Crack alone pay for the whole thing.
Yeah.
So the ROI is there. That's
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Exactly.
That's what you're saying.
Cool. Cool, man. Well, listen, the past year, I know you a little over 2x your business. We had a call a couple days ago. The goal is to at minimum 2 to 3x it again. And we're proud of you, Johnny. Like
Yeah.
Sebastian said at the beginning of this call, man, it takes a special type of person to just commit to themselves, join something like this, and just run with it, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Johnny's a young buck crushing it right now. Appreciate you jumping on the call today. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy New Year, and we'll see you soon, Johnny.
One last thing, like I'm just listening.
Please.
Please.
I'm just listening to the call, and I already renewed from last year. But you guys making me hype about Inner Circle. I'm already in the Inner Circle.
I'm happy. Well, we appreciate that. We appreciate you joining the call tonight. You know, I know it's the day after the holidays, and here you are throwing in your testimonial and talking about your experience. And so once again, we appreciate you, and we look forward to you crushing it as well in 2025.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we have a very exciting location for our Inner Circle Mastermind in 2025. I'm going to give you a second to guess in the chat. If you're in Inner Circle already and you know where it is, please do not guess. But if you can guess in the chat where our Inner Circle Mastermind for 2025 is going to be. Is it going to be in Bali, Hawaii, Miami, New Jersey? Where do you think the Inner Circle Mastermind 2025 is going to be? And then we'll release the destination in 2 seconds.
Eric's
We got-
taking a look.
We
We're
got
seeing what they're
Iceland,
saying.
Japan,
Iceland,
the moon.
the moon. We're going to Mars with Elon. That's where it's going to be. No, but in all seriousness, this is our 4th year, and every year we want to provide as much value as possible. We always want to one-up it and make sure that our Inner Circle members feel that this year is the best, and then next year is the best, and so on and so forth. So the past 3 years, we've done it in Vegas. It's been absolutely amazing. We've done it during ASD weekend, and it's been phenomenal. Jam-packed with a full 3-4 days of information between BGHL, ASD, and then of course our full day Inner Circle Mastermind workshop. But this year we knew that besides the information, we needed to give our Inner Circle members more. We needed to give them more.
So we got some great guesses. We got Japan, Iceland. We got a few Vegases. We got Miami, New York. Drum roll, please. Where will the 2025 in-person Inner Circle Mastermind be? It will be right here in our own warehouse,
Yes.
kicking off the year with the direct infrastructure, equipment, machinery, layout, setup, everything that we use in our business. You get to spend the day here, bring it back to your place.
Hell yeah.
So the reason we're doing that is because, you know, information is great, but if you're anything like me, I'm a visual learner. Like I presentations are great, you know, information phenomenal, but I want to be able to touch it and feel it and experience it. And so that's why we finally decided, we've never done it. Decade time, we've never brought people into this facility. We're now going to bring our Inner Circle members only to our warehouse, to our offices, to where our buyers purchase products, to where we meet with brands and our suppliers and distributors, show you our entire operation, all the ebbs and flows, all the high-end equipment that we use to be top line in the industry is all going to be provided to our Inner Circle members, plus a full day jam-packed with information, plus all of that. And then, of course, that's all going to be integrated and interwoven into the trade shop workshop. I'm sorry, the trade shop walk.
Trade show workshop. It's a tough one.
It's a tough one.
It's a tough one.
The trade show walkthrough that we're going to be doing the next day in New York City. So you're going to be meeting with brands. You're going to be fully ready. It's a full weekend experience between here and the trade show, and then dinner in New York, and more masterminding and networking and community events.
We want to spoon feed you this information,
Yeah.
so you know exactly what to do, right?
Yeah.
And if you're listening, and you're like, is this for me? Is this not for me? Right. So on the right, we got who this is not for, right? Which I don't want to focus who this is not for, because everybody can read. I want to focus who this is for.
Yeah.
This is for growth oriented business owners, right? So if you plan on growing your business in 2025, this is for you, right? Data driven decision makers. If you're deep in the data of your business and you understand your PCPA, NEPA, your operating profit per ACE, all these numbers, or you're hearing these and you're like, I don't know these at all, I need to know these, then this is for you.
It's for what Eric is saying. It's for the practical person, the logical person. Lots of times as business owners, we let emotion get in the way of our decisions. Whether it's fear driven or FOMO, whatever it may be, it gets in the way of making a practical, logical decision. It needs to be based on data. So whether you're speaking to Eric or myself, or whether you speak to others inside of the industry or others directly in our community, or other Amazon sellers, ask and get the information from the winners, of course.
Yeah.
Also, it's very important to look at the messenger, not just the message. Who's delivering the message is so important, because if it's somebody that you strive to be, then I would be listening.
Yeah. And so we've been on this call for about 45, 50 minutes now. And I know some of you already like, listen, Eric, I'm in. Sign me up. I'm ready to join Inner Circle immediately, right? So there's a QR code right here where if that's you and you're like, you know what, I don't need to hear anything else, which I'd imagine it's a lot of you who are attending this. If you're a hustler, go-getter like Sebastian and I, and you're like, Eric, I'm done with the pitch. Give me the link. I need to be a part of this. You could scan that QR code right there. It'll take you to a direct link to my calendar, and we can hop on a phone call and discuss your current business, where you are, where you want to go, and get you onboarded into Inner Circle. It's a very simple, straightforward process. And when you join and schedule that call, you get access to that in-person mastermind in March of 2024. It's a massive tax write-off for the end of the year. If you made some good money in 2024, you want to decrease that taxable income.
Yeah. Investing in yourself in education is a tax write-off if you are a business owner. So for you and or your employees, it is a tax write-off. Be very mindful of that, as we only have about 5 days left in this year. And after you jump on that call with Eric, you're going to be jumping on a foundation call with me once you've signed up. And that's where we're going to prepare you and your company, and everyone who's been on this call so far, whether it's Mario or Johnny, have been part of that call, where you get this very extensive document, which is now about 50, 60 pages long, going in depth into your business and all the strategies that you need to implement to ensure you reach your goals.
Yeah.
Because by the time you're off the phone with Eric, he already has an understanding of your goals. Then you're on the phone with me. We're refining that during our video stream. And then afterwards, we're building out the entire process for the year, and then making sure you're prepared January 9th for our first mastermind, followed by February 13th for our pitch deck workshop. And then by March 1st, you're locking in brands at the trade show the day after you spent a full day masterminding with top level $1 million+ sellers right here in our own facility.
Yeah. So don't let another year pass you by. I'd hate for you to be on this webinar next year, because we do these webinars every single year, because at the end of the year, people are trying to change their lives. I mean, it's your time to shine. We got you covered. The Amazon landscape has completely changed in 2024. And I don't want you to fall behind these changes that have occurred. It doesn't have to happen to you. You don't have to be looking back 12 months from now and be like, damn, I should have listened to these guys.
Honestly, I think Eric's being soft on this, because the truth is, like, I feel like you're sugarcoating. I don't think a lot of the businesses will be here in 12 months if they don't make changes. What I saw in 2024, and I know a lot of you have seen, is that there are more changes than ever that happened this year. And this isn't going away. This is going to escalate. And 2025 is going to be no different. You're going to have to adapt, or you're going to have to change industries.
Yep. And so because we've been running Inner Circle now for 4 years, we understand that businesses are at different levels, right? We can't have the same roadmap and structure for a business that joins doing $1 million a year as a business that's doing $50 million a year, right? They need completely different levels of support and access to these benefits to allow them to grow. So we have 3 different tiers of Inner Circle, right? Which is broken down right here. So if you want to take a screenshot of it and look at it in a few minutes, you can do that as well, because we're about to move on to the next slide. But it breaks down the level of access you get on each tier.
Yeah. And because we understand it is an investment, and what we want more than anything else is for you to continue to join year after year, telling all your friends and other business owners that you're crushing it in Inner Circle. We do offer installment plans to ensure that it's not breaking the bank.
Yeah.
That's the last thing we want. We want to provide you with value, but make sure that your investment is continuing to help to grow what Inner Circle is. All the events that we do, all the workshops that we do, all the people that are behind the scenes that are helping us to run Inner Circle.
Yeah. And now, in order to get the full pricing for each tier, you just got to schedule a call with me, which in a slide or two, that QR link will be back on here. But the base tier, Brain Trust, starts at $19,600 for the year. As Sebastian said, there's installment plans, and then Enterprise goes all the way up to, high 6 figures. But then there's the 2 in between, M Club and High Society. And based on where your business is, when we jump on this call, I'll review where you are and give my honest opinion of which tier will best fit your business. And most likely, if you just broke $1 million in revenue, you're probably going to be in Brain Trust, right? But if you're doing $5, $6, $7 million of revenue, I'm probably going to recommend M Club for you.
It might be a disservice not to.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, 19,600 is where it starts in. It's an investment in yourself. There's installment plans that are available. And you not only get Source Correct, which you heard all about it, you have WhatsApp, you have the 12 workshop masterminds, you come to our facility, you mastermind for a full day with us. Depending on the tier, we might be flying out to you. You may have direct WhatsApp access for a full year, 365 days, to put out any fires, answer any questions that you may have about starting relationships with brands or anything going on in your business, to Eric and myself.
Yeah.
For like a cup of coffee a day. It's insane.
Yeah, Mario just said it. I mean, he's gotten 3x his investment from joining Inner Circle. So we have a case study here, and this is from a current Inner Circle member. So I kind of want to break down these numbers for you a little bit. And while I'm talking and breaking them down, you can read what's on the slide so you can literally see these numbers visually right in front of your face. But so this seller, he was doing right around $80,000 a month when he joined Inner Circle at 13% margins, right? And we helped him 2.7x his business to right around $215,000, $216,000 a month. And we helped him increase his profit margins from 13% to 14.2%. So based on those increases, his monthly profits increased from $9,400 pre-Inner Circle to $30,600 after Inner Circle. That's a 21,000 month over month increase by implementing the strategies we educate you on in Inner Circle. Absolutely life-changing. You're now making the cost of Inner Circle every single month once you get ramped up.
Yep.
And we got in another example. This is a seller. She joined M Club, right? The next tier, the second tier in Inner Circle. And when she joined, she was doing right around $300,000 a month at 13% margins, which is common. Most people who join Inner Circle, they're usually sub 12, sub 13% margins. Our goal is to get them higher than that, right? We helped her double her business to $600K and increase profit margins by 1.8 percentage points to 14.8%. So her monthly profits went from $39,000 a month to $88,000 a month. That's a nearly $50,000 month over month profit increase. That's life-changing. That's 600 grand a year in additional profits this woman is now making.
Yeah.
Prior to joining Inner Circle. So yes, it cost her $40-something thousand to join, but now she's making $600,000 a year additional.
And I think one of the biggest fears that people have is that when you're joining a program like Inner Circle, it might be something new. You've never really invested in yourself besides college or university and that, you know, you heard from your parents and family and other friends or older siblings that that's just the path you have to take. So that's what you did. But this is unlike that, where you're really making this decision for yourself, and maybe you've never invested in yourself. And that's scary. Anything new is scary. If you think about it, like I'm sure the first time you were selling products on Amazon, my first $2,000 that I spent with a supplier was scary. And now, not to flaunt or anything, but now I could throw 100,000 down and not even blink twice, because now I understand that it is a return on investment. The ROI is there. So if anything, you really have to understand that the fear of financial risk is completely normal. And but you have to take a look at it and just ask yourself, this may not be the right fit for everyone, but ask yourself, are you in a position where your business is struggling? Are you in a position where you're seeing your profit margins slimming year over year, or maybe even more drastically, like month over month? If that's the case, then I promise you, if you don't change something, that is just going to continue to snowball.
Yeah. And I'd like to touch on point 3 here. And then I'd like, only because I saw William in the chat, he put like, well, what about like the concern of suspension? So then
Yeah.
I'd like you to
Yeah.
dive into a little bit of number 4.
Yep.
Right. But some of us, some of you really watching this, you'll doubt your ability to execute and receive the ROI that's provided in Inner Circle. But we just had 2 members, right, who've been in Inner Circle for some time, just share their experience and their initial fears joining. And they just literally told you it was the best investment that they've ever made. So if they can join, you can join too.
Yeah. Yeah, and I get the suspensions. The suspension anxiety is huge. But I could tell you, in the 4th year that we're going now into Inner Circle, we've never had an Inner Circle member be suspended. We've had some close calls. We've had to jump on calls. There's been sellers with multiple accounts where maybe they had one account down, and then we have to assist them getting that account back. But the fact of the matter is, there's no long-term suspensions that have happened. And why is that? I mean, I'm not saying that we're the reason that happens, but I am saying when you level up, your mind changes. No, it's a fact. You change.
Yeah.
your whole aura changes about you, the way you think about things, and being suspended just isn't going to. It won't fly. It won't fly.
It
Like
won't fly.
it happened to us back in September, where we got suspended and we got our account back within a few days of something that, quite frankly, in our business, we take much more risk than you should. Johnny knows, and Joe, who's about to come on. A lot of the times, we're always providing you the most risk-averted solution, because I'm not going to jeopardize risk on somebody else's business. So I will always tell you, but if you do that, this is what's going to happen. And a lot of times our Inner Circle members pivot and say, you know what, it's not worth the money. We made a decision earlier this year where we ended up getting suspended, and now, because of legal issues, we're kind of dealing with the big company. I don't even want to say their names, but you know who they are. They're one of the marketplaces that we all sell on. So we're going through it with them, but we got our account back. That's the thing. And most people are like, how did you get your account back? And then we had how many people reached out to you after that weren't part of Inner Circle member, that for that same thing, they've been suspended for 6 months.
Yeah.
6 months.
Yeah.
While what happened was, we had another Inner Circle member that had the same issue happen to us, happened to him. He didn't even get suspended. Anthony didn't even get suspended. We made sure we provided him, okay, this is what you do. Before he got suspended, got the issue resolved. So we took the brunt of it. And to sum it all up, I get suspension, I get anxiety, but what better than to be at the forefront with people that are doing millions of dollars in hybrid models, whether it's private label, whether it's wholesale, whether it's brand exclusivity, all 3, and ensuring that your account doesn't get jeopardized, and you always have somewhere to go to ask those questions. Hey, is this in compliance? Is this not? Should I do this? Should I not? This is where you ask those questions, so you're proactive, rather than being like some of those people that reached out to Eric on Instagram. Hey, I've been suspended 3 months, 6 months, and they're reactive, and their whole businesses are shut down, and they've let go of all their employees because they didn't have the right community backing them.
Yeah, it's devastating.
Yeah.
I mean, some of these businesses, they let go of 20, 30 employees. They've had to subleased their warehouses. I mean, a complete restructuring. Some of them have filed bankruptcy
File bankruptcy.
because of the suspension. I mean,
Yeah.
it's devastating. It can literally ruin any opportunity of a future.
But
for-
it's still there. It's still there, whether you're in inner circle or not. Like that could still happen. So why wouldn't you be part of a
for
community
insurance
for
policy.
insurance
Yeah.
to ensure that Eric and I are there to help you with any account issues that you may have?
Yeah. So we got another person who's going to jump on here. This is Joe. Joe has been in Inner Circle. He also just renewed for year 2. We've gotten very close with Joe. Sebastian's been to his warehouse. We've seen him at a bunch of trade shows. Dude has literally 10x'd his fucking business since he joined Inner Circle. Yes, I said 10x. And I'm sure he'll jump into some of that. But Joe, man, pleasure to have you here. Excited to hear what you got to share about your experience being in Inner Circle for some time now.
Yeah, what's going on, guys? How's everything? Good?
What's up,
Fantastic, Joe.
Happy
Yeah.
holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, the way that I think about an inner circle at this point is based on what you guys have been saying, Amazon's changing, right? And things are becoming far more restrictive. And the writing's on the wall where Amazon no longer wants hobbyists, right? They want serious business owners. And I think by and large, part of being a serious business owner is you have to push yourself out of your comfort zone and into territory that you're really not quite equipped for. So for instance, in a personal example for us, we have a call lined up for a brand direct deal with a company that's doing 700,000 a month, right?
Nice.
That's like 8 million a year, right? It's huge.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, look, we are not as prepared as we should be for an account that size, but we know that we got you guys in our back pocket, right? So we can do what we do. We can make the connection. We can build the relationship. And if they throw us any curveballs, we know that we could just WhatsApp you guys. And then, 15 minutes, get the answers that we need to then turn around and look like experts to them. So I really see it as, it really is, Inner Circle is that support because we're all here to make money. We're all here to get rich, and part of that is you have to build an expertise in your business. And we're in a very lucrative niche, but having support and being able to exchange ideas and information just puts it on a whole nother level, and we think that we can, we've already 10x'd. We think that we can 6x from here in the next 24 months, right?
Yeah.
So, it kind of gives you that unstoppable position where you have the support backing you up.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe. So last week we were talking to your brother John, and he was sharing that how when we first met, maybe 2.5 years ago, you guys were prepping like 5,000 units a month, and now you're prepping 5,000 units a day. Can you talk about that growth trajectory a little bit?
Yes. When we first met, we were prepping, I don't even know if it was 5,000 a week. Maybe it was about 1,000 a day out of the back of a pizzeria. Okay. Right. We were in the back of a pizzeria prepping about 5,000 a week. Then we moved to a warehouse that was essentially next door to a chop shop, and we were probably prepping 2,000 a day. And now we're in a 12,000 square foot warehouse. Full transparency, our rent is like $9,000 a month, and we're prepping 5,000 a day. So I mean, it's been a rapid increase in sales and productivity and profitability since we joined, without a doubt. And clearly, look, Inner Circle is not a magic pill, right? You still have to put in the work, right? Like we still got to get up in the morning and manage our employees, et cetera, et cetera. But I really think that it's the community aspect and your guys' expertise just puts us in a position where I don't really see how we can lose, right? Short of a disaster, there's just no way that we can. I'm saying that honestly. And I think you guys know it too. Like we will be doing like 3-4 million a month here, like in the next year or two, for sure.
I agree.
And I think even sooner than that, quite frankly, what you just said kind of drove it home for me, which is I have a conversation with a brand that's doing 700,000 a month. And that's the thing with brand partnerships, brand exclusivity. You're only one brand away. As long as you have the tools, you have Eric, myself, the community in your back pocket, you have your own expertise that you've now grown with the years in the industry. You're only one brand away from changing everything. That next brand that might come across you could be $2-3 million a month. That's 30 million a year. That changes the gain for
Well,
you.
you know, the thing too is, and I don't want to take up all your time, but you and I were talking last week about a brand doing like 300,000 a month. You know, they got
Yeah.
like 50 or 60 SKUs. I'm pretty sure we're gonna close that deal, right?
Nice.
So there's really no limit here. Really, the only limit is the amount of cash that you can get your hands on, right? Because, you know, if you pull a Smart Scout report of brands doing between, let's say, you know, 10,000 and $1.5 million per month in revenue, it's like 30,000 brands. Like there is no shortage of opportunity in this space. So, you know, I know I'm happen to be looking at the fear aspect here. It's like, look, there's really nothing to fear here. Like you have to do in the work, you're going to take losses. You know, 19 grand is really, you know, if you weigh the pros and cons and risks and rewards, it's like you can win really big, but the most that you can lose is 19,000. It's like you can win 5 million a month, you know, and the most you can lose is 19,000. You know, the best investors in the world would say, sign me up for that.
Sign me up.
You know what I mean? Like Eric, if you could make 5 million and like the most you could lose is 19,000, that's a
take
no-brainer. That's a
Where do I swipe? Where do I
that's a
swipe?
no-brainer, dude. You know, yeah, I'll write the check today for that. So,
Yeah.
so no-brainer for me. If you have any other questions, please let
No,
me know.
I mean, you know, it's just having that switch, because I do get both
Yeah.
sides. I
Sure.
get the people that are at that mind state where they're like, yeah, but it's 19,000. You know,
Sure.
I could buy X amount of products with that money. I could pay my employees for X amount of weeks with that money. And then there's the other side, which is understanding, to your point, where, or it could turn into a $5 million opportunity, and then 19 becomes so much more. But it took me
Yeah.
a while to finally start joining different masterminds and workshops because of that fear.
Yeah, last thing I'll say, and then the floor is yours again. You know, I don't come from a background of like wealth, right? Like we're earning everything that we have to get. Once you realize how much money the government wants in taxes, you realize that $19,000 is nothing. Because the minute you start the minute you start thinking that you're on top of the world, the government's going to come knocking for 80 grand. Like,
Yeah.
so, you know, I hear what you're saying, but big picture, 19,000 is really not a lot of money if you're serious about this business, because, you know, you could really just, you know, as a hobby, you can make 50,000 a month.
Yeah.
If you're taking this seriously, you're going to make 180, 190,000 a month for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so I'm all in. I'm all in for a year or two. You guys, you know, I'm here. I'm all in, and we're going to close these brand deals and just, you know, to the moon, as they say.
Yeah.
To the moon, man.
To the moon.
To the
Looking
moon,
forward
man.
to seeing you in
Yeah.
Jersey.
Yeah, man. All right, guys.
Thanks,
Thank you
Joe.
for everything.
Appreciate you
I really
jumping on.
appreciate it. All right,
Yeah,
guys.
absolutely, man. Likewise.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you, brother.
Thank you.
All right, so real quick, let's just do a quick little overview of some of the benefits, just in case you forgot some of them. So we have monthly live workshops every single month. Us in the Inner Circle businesses meet to provide you the exact strategy we're using to continue to grow. Full day immersion events like the one that's happening right here.
Right here.
Direct access to me and Sebastian,
Yep.
which is crazy. We basically become your business partners without taking any equity
No.
out of your business.
No equity, just a small investment in yourself. You have masterminds with 7-8 figure sellers. We're going to help you pivot your business so you become more of a hybrid business in 2025, and not only ensure you don't get left behind, but like Joe said, and Mario and Johnny, that your business is thriving. The goal is for you to be thriving. So you're telling everybody, Sebastian and Eric are the best thing to happen to your business.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Source Correct and the exclusive access to the forecaster, which is your automated VA essentially, and then the mobile warehouse management system.
Yeah.
And last but not least on this slide is the one-on-one coaching and training from not a VA or not some coach that you don't see on this video
Me
right
and
now,
Sebastian.
Eric and myself.
Yeah, we manage the whole entire Inner Circle consulting and mentoring. You're
Yep.
talking to us,
Yes.
right? You're not joining Inner Circle and you get pushed off to an account rep, and
No.
this ain't Amazon, right?
And
This is Amazon lit.
And that's why it's limited. Like I do have to let everyone know it is limited. You know, we only have a select amount of spots because we need to provide as much value as possible. And part of that in Inner Circle, it's intimate value. It's a little bit different than other business ventures we have. This is way more intimate. And because of that, it's only a select amount of seats that we have open. Then you got the account health and everything else. Feel free to scan if you haven't already. And then let's jump to the next slide here.
I got a question for you, right? Do you know that you can do more and achieve more for your company? This is a question you have to ask yourself. This is a question I literally ask myself every single day when I wake up. Am I performing at my highest capability, or can I be doing better? And typically, if I'm being completely honest, the answer is I can always be doing better, right? But understanding that I need to be doing better is completely different than taking action and doing better.
Yeah, and everyone could read these questions that are on the screen. So I kind of want to touch on what you said right there in that first question, because if I'm honest with myself, even me here being the presenter, in the past hour, I've thought more about the investment in myself, in my business, in my future, in my finances than I have in the past week, you know, spending time with the people I love the most, my family. But when it comes back down to it, I still need to provide for them. I need to take care of them. And it's places like this, being surrounded by you, being surrounded by the people who came on screen and talked about their businesses, not only motivates me, but it reminds me that I need to keep pushing forward and investing in myself. You know, the ROI is there. So let's, you know, what last time you could scan this right here, it's about joining today, making sure that 2025 is different than any other year before, that your business is thriving, that you're locking in brands like the Inner Circle members that you heard tonight, which was just a small snippet of the Inner Circle members that are part of this 50+ person community that we have. Here's us last year at our Inner Circle Mastermind. You're seeing on the screen our Inner Circle members right there last year. And this year, the picture's going to be taken in here.
Yeah, it's going to be right here.
Yeah.
It's going to be dope.
Yeah.
So we're going to leave this slide up for a little bit. We appreciate all y'all attending. Make sure you get on my calendar. I just checked my email. A bunch of you already scheduled calls. That's fantastic. I got availability tonight, tomorrow, and even Monday. But if you don't scan that QR code, you're going to miss out on this. Just book a time. We'll answer all of your questions. It will just be me and you on the call, and any business partners you decide to bring. Let me just make sure we got nothing that needs to be addressed before we leave this here, Sebastian.
Sure.
I think we're good.
Awesome.
I'm going to answer, Brian. I'll answer your question in the chat once we wrap this up. I'll leave the chat open for a few minutes. If anybody has any questions, you could just post them in the chat. We'll leave it active for a few minutes, but we're going to mute ourselves now. It's been a pleasure. We're excited to see a lot of you inside Inner Circle in the next couple of days here.
I see 2025. Stay lit.
Stay lit.